Hi, I'm Alan Jones, Executive Editor for Boating World Magazine, and I'm aboard the Stratos 201 XL Evolution. And I'm here with Steve Altus from Stratos. How you doing, Steve?
Just real fine, Alan. Nice
Great
to have you here.
Now, I understand Larry Nixon, bass legend, bass fishing legend, had a lot of input into this boat. What are some of the things that he helped you guys with?
Had a tremendous amount of impact on the boat, Alan, and of course Larry has been associated with Stratos boats for a long time, has seen the evolution of the 201 and the current model. But there were some particular things that he really wanted to see come to the fore in this model. There were some things that we had a lot of input from Larry on regarding the standard recessed trolling motor foot pedal. Certainly makes it much more comfortable after a day of fishing to stand in a level fashion instead of maybe being cocked up with a leg in the air like we have tended to do in the past with the pedal mounted up on the front deck. One big thing he really brought to our attention was the need for the padded front deck. This area you see outlined here is all padded underneath, so it gives you a much softer footing. It gives you much better bounce, if you will.
I love it.
And it has a shock absorber type effect to it, so really actually, makes those long days on the water seem much less stressful.
Right.
A lot easier to stand up. In the tackle storage and rod storage and tackle management systems, a lot of positive things come from Larry, as well as a lot of other anchors. But something very unique in this boat from previous models. We have the traditional port side rod storage. That is a 12-tube capacity rod storage system, and that in itself isn't necessarily all that unusual, but this is quite unique from where it's been in years past.
Unbelievable.
In addition to the port side rod tubes, you've got 9 tubes here in the center of the boat. This will accept up to an 8.5-foot rod. So it gives you the capacity for those big long rods that are much more popular nowadays. Plus, as you can see, not only this tackle organizer, tackle management system that utilizes the see-through clear tackle boxes will accept as many as 20 different tackle boxes based on the configuration. It does have a lot of flexibility with removable dividers, so you can actually make it fit other types of storage too if you don't want to use it for the tackle boxes.
I love the boxes here.
He really came after us on this. He uses this size tackle box on a very regular basis. Uses it for jig heads, uses it for lead weights and so forth. And something he really asked us to take a look at, this is what our guys come up with, was actually a system that built these tackle boxes instead of the traditional, put them down the belly of the boat, actually fix them underneath the lids.
I understand you have a new gauge system here that's really high-tech.
We do. The new digital Actia gauge system. All the gauges come to us from this company. They're a digital system. They look like a standard analog gauge, but in fact they are digital in nature. And as they are activated, you can see the smooth, even flow of the traditional digital style gauges. In addition, it has a monitoring system here that does adapt for the various brands of outboards. It'll adapt to any of the brands of outboards which we utilize with our package boats, and goes through a variety of systems which I think you already have some experience with, including not just the traditional miles per hour and speed, RPM settings, but also gets into some of the gauge management systems as far as fuel efficiency and fuel management. Lets you know what percentage of fuel capacity is left in the tank. So instead of the old traditional fuel tank that showed a quarter or a half, it actually show your percentage. I think I looked here just a little bit ago, the boat's showing with like 60-some%. So it's pretty precise. You can also measure what fuel has been used in a day's time. You can reset it so you can see what fuel's been consumed. Very important if you're running from point A, making a long run up the lake, and with this big 50-gallon fuel capacity, you've got a lot of running range, but you can be assured if you're going to where you're going and be able to get back, if you've used less than half or less than your total gallage allocation, you're in good shape to come back. So, gosh, does everything from it has altitude, has amperage settings, and does just a lot of different things. It is. In addition, the speedometer is very unique because it's a truly digital speedometer. It's not an analog type system. You'll notice on the boat there's actually 2 GPS pucks.
I saw that.
There is the puck for the traditional graph sitting here at the console, but there's also a puck that ties back into your speedometer, and it actually gives you a true, accurate reading, and the two will match. So you don't have to necessarily monitor the speed now on your GPS system or on your graph to know exactly what speed you're running. Very precise, very finely tuned, and very smooth. You don't get a lot of fluctuation, a lot of movement in rough water with it. It's a very solid setting.
One thing I love about this boat is you sit higher than normal in this. And I notice you have a lot more freeboard up front, too.
The boat carries more freeboard, more gunnel, if you will, than what our models have in the past, and you're exactly correct. You know, a couple things it does. One, it allows you to store your rods whenever they're along the front deck, and you can still go ahead and get into your storage compartments without the danger of kicking them overboard. So it still gives you that extra measure of security.
Yeah.
And plus, as you set in the boat, you do have more level, you have more height here, so you have really a better feeling and a better all-around level of security and safety, you know, that holds you in the boat in those rough water conditions. That coupled along with these great seats,
beautiful,
which you know, are well tailored, fit a variety of size of people, and you know, are structured engineered so they have these side protection systems that really keeps you stabilized in your seat and side-to-side movement.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, on the back deck, this is one of the biggest live wells I've ever seen.
Proud of our live well system, and it is brand new for 2009, I might add as well. Some things we've done here, we have gone to, on all of our lids, the Stratos now incorporates an acrylic type material into our lid system. So we're no longer utilizing what has been the traditional, over the years, the traditional aluminum style lids. We found these to have much better rigidity. They don't flex and bend and sway as much when you step on them. And this is not just the live well lids, this is all the lids throughout the boat itself. But as well, we get better insulation characteristics with them. And we find that our live well water, we're able to retain a cooler water temperature, which is very critical for summertime tournaments, and we're finding we get a lot of benefits. In addition, we've gone to, after quite a bit of input from people like Larry and others, we found that there was a preference to have a live well that actually had a blue tint to it. So instead of what has been the traditional black, which you see very often, a black background, which very often is hard to even see the fish, especially if it's in murky water. And some live wells also are white in nature. The blue, we feel like, has a more calming effect with the fish. You know, a lot of ways to try to take care of your catch and manage that catch well, especially in those hot weather tournaments.
Sure, they feel like they're in a swimming pool.
Well, we want them to be happy, that's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of room back here. I love how you can access all the systems back here, too.
Good access to your batteries. I mean, nice, clean, well finished out, not rough fiberglass laying around that you can get a shard in your hand. Just a nice, clean access. And what you're finding here is good access to your trolling motor batteries and to your battery systems as well. That's a big issue with today's tournament angler. You know, we really depend upon that trolling motor, and the power comes from these batteries back here. So subsequently being able to access these, to maintain them, to add water, to test them, and certainly with your built-in battery charger like you see here, to monitor that it is charging those batteries adequately is a big part of what we do. So
you guys have thought of everything. There's even a dedicated storage for the oil
it
can,
is.
too.
It is. It's sitting there just in case you want to add some oil when you're making those runs. But
fantastic.
Yeah, nice system. Very happy with it.
Well, we just finished testing the Stratos 201 XL Evolution, and I'll tell you what, this boat is incredible. We have the new Evinrude E-Tech 250 HO, which gives this thing plenty of power. We had a top speed of 78 miles an hour, and I noticed on the Telltale Actia gauges, which are all new digital gauges, that someone on this boat's taking it to 79 miles an hour, so you got plenty of power. Now, when you take her out of the hole, you do get a lot of bow rise, but up front in all this cavernous storage we have, we don't have any gear, which normally an angler would have a couple 100 pounds. So when we take off, we get a lot of bow rise, and it's a little slow to plane, time about just under 5 seconds, but a lot of that is because we don't have it loaded with the gear like you normally would. Now, this boat loves to run at about 6 degrees of angle, and how you know when you're really trimmed up perfectly is you get her going and trim up until you feel the steering get a little stiff, and then you trim back down and you're perfect to go. This Evinrude is really fuel efficient. With our Actia gauges, we get to see how much fuel we're burning. And even at top speed, we were only burning less than 26 gallons an hour, which is pretty good. And if you bump it down to 40 miles an hour, you get 12 gallons per hour, which is very fuel efficient. For more information on the Stratos 201 XL Evolution and other great boats, go to boatingworld.com. I'm Alan Jones, and we'll see you out on the water.